Welcome to I Learned a Thing in the Bathroom from Dollar Shave Club, where we explain something very complicated in mere minutes to occupy your brain while you shave. In this edition, we'll be answering the question, why is it so hard to keep your New Year's resolutions? As explained by someone who sounds smart because he's British.
Well, we're a few weeks into another year, and despite the fact that New Year's resolutions have repeatedly been shown to be pointless and ineffective, you're probably trying to stick to some anyway. If you're struggling with your annual vow to give up carbs, fat, caffeine, or whatever, and let's face it, you are because otherwise you wouldn't have had to make a resolution about it in the first place, you might be wondering if everyone else is going through the same thing, or if it's just your own personal, complete lack of willpower.
I'm going to guess it's the latter.
The good news for your self-esteem is actually, giving that stuff up is hard. Really hard. Giving up carbs, for example. According to addiction therapist Matthew Bruin, CEO of Apex Recovery, when you give up carbs, you'll go through a period where you're getting headaches, feeling listless, and even peeing more as your body gets rid of all the excess glucose and sodium it's been stockpiling. The best way to combat this, he says, is exercise. This will elevate your level of serotonin and endorphins, making you feel less depressed. Of course, since most of us are giving up carbs so we don't have to exercise, this is pretty terrible news all around.
What about fat? Is that any easier to give up?
How hard it is to give up fat is, or rather should be, a moot point. Because the fact is, giving up fat is a bad idea in the first place, and one based on obsolete science. You need fat. It's extremely important for brain health and hormone regulation. It was the anti-fat crusade of the 80s and 90s, in fact, in which people subsequently binged on carbs instead, that caused the massive spike in obesity nationwide. So, while you can always reduce the number of bad fats in your life, like those from red meats, dairy, and fast food, consider this year to be the one where you give up giving up fat.
Okay, but I've been trying to stop drinking coffee too, and I'm finding it a little bit difficult. Oh my God, please help me.
You shouldn't feel too bad about struggling to give up caffeine. This is a substance that Bruin described as being, quote, more stimulating than cocaine when it's in its purest form. It's a surprisingly hardcore drug, so he recommends taking a week or so to wean yourself off it, cutting back to just one coffee a day to start with.
Does he have any tips on what to do when I'm missing my 14 other daily cups of coffee?
He does suggest you try drinking green tea on all your other coffee breaks, but since green tea tastes like hot toilet water, you might want to give that one a miss. Either way, you're still going to get headaches and agitation when you give up your coffee, so that's something to look forward to.
Wait, fat, carbs, and caffeine? I just realized I gave up breakfast for New Year. Ugh. Life is terrible. Tune in next time for more I Learned a Thing in the Bathroom. And in the meantime, head to dollarshaveclub.com for more podcasts and a big old pile of grooming products.